Deflating and frustrating. Those are words that both teams use to describe their opening weekends. The Packers losing 31-3 to Houston, and New Orleans falling 31-10 to Atlanta. Hi, everybody. I'm Wayne Walker, working today with Johnny Morris. And Johnny, two teams in transition, 14 new faces on each side, but the big question marks are still at the important quarterback position.
You hit it right on the head, Wayne, because it's a classic example of teams trying to establish quarterbacks. For New Orleans, it's Bobby Hebert in only his 8th start, and last week was not a great start for him. He was only 13 of 33, but Jim Mora thinks he's the quarterback of the future for the Saints. Over on the other side of the coin, we have Randy Wright of the Packers, who is starting his 4th time, and he's never been a winner as a starter. He was only 10 of 23 last week, so we have the classic example trying to find a solid number 1 quarterback. And of course, if one of them has a good game, we'll have a fine football game. If both of them do well, we'll have a great football game, and we're about ready to start.
All right, John, no question about it. Both quarterbacks have a lot of confidence in their own ability. As you look at the series, the Packers lead at 10-2, going for their 8th straight win in this one. New Orleans has not won since back in 1975. New Orleans has won the toss, though. They will receive. Al Del Greco will get things started for us, picking off from the 35-yard line. Mel Gray, number 37, and number 36, Reuben Mays, deep for the Saints. This will be Mays at the 10-yard line. The rookie from Washington State across the 25 and down at around the 26-yard line. Bobby Hebert will lead his offensive mates out on the field for their very first possession. And here's what he'll be looking at. A veteran unit there, Alfonso Carricker, Humphrey, and Brown, the 3-down linemen. The linebackers, Brian Noble on the outside, John Dorsey getting the start in the middle after a fine game last week. A solid secondary, and particularly at the corners, and Mossy Cade, who Forrest Gregg said has been one of his best players. The Saints in a pro set. They hand to rookie Dolphin Hilliard, and he won't get much. Right over there by the left side of the Green Bay defense. New Orleans will line up offensively this way. Hebert at quarterback, the rookie Hilliard, Buford Jordan, Eugene Goodlow, Eric Martin, and Hobie Brenner. That's an all-Louisiana backfield. A rookie, Dombrowski, at left tackle. The rest are veterans. Brock is the oldest at age 27. Second down, 8 now from about the 28. The toss to Hilliard again. And he is met by Dorsey, who led the Packers last week with 10 tackles.
Yes, John Dorsey has moved inside. He did so well last week with 10 tackles. He said he wants to play some football today, so we're going to see how that Packer defense does. Talking to the Packers yesterday, they're very embarrassed about how things came out against Houston at home before the full house there at Green Bay. They say they want to make amends. Of course, the same thing can be said for the New Orleans Saints. We're very disappointed in their first game.
Dorsey, one of the few guys in that loss that played himself into a starting job. 3rd and 9 now for Hebert and the Saints. From the 27, Hebert to throw. Going deep for Eric Martin. Mark Lee fell down, complete at the 25. Eric Martin, touchdown. 72-yard pass connection from Bobby Hebert to Eric Martin.
Talk about lighting up the crowd in a hurry. As Jim Mora, he almost looked like he couldn't believe it because the Saints strike in a hurry, and the key was, as you said, Wayne, was that Mark Lee, who's a good cornerback, slipped and fell down, and when he went down, it was easy pickings for Martin, who just took the ball in for a 72-yard touchdown, and the New Orleans Saints strike first here at the Superdome.
Martin, the second-year receiver from LSU with his first touchdown of the season. Morton Anderson for the extra point off Brian Hanson's hold. It's good, and New Orleans has an early 7-0 lead here in the Superdome. There's young Eric Martin with his 4th catch of the season, and you saw it, a 72-yard score from Bobby Hebert. But Mark Lee had problems, Johnny. It looked like he stubbed his toe on the turf.
You can see it up there at the upper right portion. He kind of stubbed his toe, went down, and watch Martin keep his elbows in that time. He didn't try to reach out with his hands. He made sure of that grab. But Mark Lee did slip and fall, but you have to say he was watching the quarterback, and Martin put all of a sudden a burst of speed, and he was kind of forced to trip and stumble a little bit. So it wasn't just completely a slip all by itself. You got to give the Saints offense some credit.
Morton Anderson, and he's a thumper, will kick off for New Orleans. Walter Stanley, number 87, in the middle of a 3 deep. And Anderson pooches it to the 35, where it's taken by Dan Ross. Rather than kick it deep, I don't know whether he missed it or did it intensely, but it was kind of a pooch kick, alertly taken by Ross.
I think it was Noble, Brian Noble, and he didn't try and fair catch the ball. Of course, he used to play a little bit of fullback one time. It was intentional. They were trying to dub that kick over there, I think, and Brian Noble just picked it off like an old fullback and made the catch. So it backfired, but you could tell by the way he tippy-toed on the kick that Anderson was trying to fool the Packers.
The ball is on the 32 for Randy Wright in the offense. Harry Ellis, the remaining back, or rather Davis. And Davis has it, and near a first down. Hit by Frank Waddle. Coming up from his strong safety position is Kenneth Davis, the rookie, is close to the first down.
Let's give credit to Hallstrom, too, for a good block. The pulling guard came out and did a good job.
Right, looking now at the New Orleans defense that had its problems last week. Bruce Clark, one of the fine players in the league. Tony Elliott getting the start at nose tackle, and Jim Wilkes at right end. Jackson, Red, Tolles, and Haynes. Tolles making his first start of the season. Jackson, an All-Pro. Waymer, Poe, Gary, and Wadlett. Waymer starting for Willie Tullis, and we'll develop that story for you further. Now it's Ellis as the remaining back. 1st and 10. Right to throw. And has his tight end West for first down yardage.
Ed West, who has taken over that tight end position from Paul Kaufman, as you know, who was released. But West just comes down and turns in, and Wright had good pass protection, and West takes the ball down for a first down, and Forrest Gregg is very happy with his tight end situation. He says he realizes he released some old Packer standbys, but he said, hey, we've been 8-8 for the last 2 or 3 years, and in the long run, we're going to be better off with younger players.
Picked up 15 yards on the catch. The ball is at the 39, where it's 1st and 10. West in motion. The toss to Davis. Trying to get a block from West, cuts in and doesn't get much, as he's hit by Alvin Tolles, who moved over from his inside linebacker spot. Forrest Gregg in his 10th year as an NFL head coach, the 3rd at Green Bay. And he approaches coaching, I'm sure, much the way he approached playing, Johnny. He's a serious-minded man that works hard.
And he once played in anybody can play 197 straight games without missing a game. It's got to be pretty good in my book. Now he's got a challenge, though. This Green Bay team has been kind of static for the past few years, and he's taken a little bit of a chance with a lot of young players.
2nd and 7. Ellis is the remaining back. Right to throw. For Lofton. Did he stay in? If he did, it's a first down. And they called it out.
He tried to drag his feet. We'll get a better view here on the replay because he's very experienced at that. Boy, that's a tough one. Looked like he might have dragged his toes there.
We're playing this under the auspices of the NFL replay situation. Those are one of the things they're supposed to look at, possession type situation. Lofton needs 21 catches to break the Packer all-time receiving record held by Don Hudson. 3rd and 7 now from the 37. Out of the shotgun. Right grips. Almost intercepted by Dave Waymer. We talked about Waymer making the start today for Willie Tullis. He made a good move there.
Well, one of the reasons that Waymer was almost able to intercept that was that Epps really rounded off his out pattern there. It was not a real good pattern, and it wasn't crisp enough, and Waymer smelled it coming as Randy Wright goes off the field. And right now, so far, Bobby Hebert has the best of the quarterback battle as the Packers apparently are going to punt. They're down to about the 38-yard line. If he kicks it into the end zone, they don't gain all that much out of it.
It'll be Don Bracken. He'll try to angle it more than likely or pooch it high. This is a high spiral. It'll bounce and be called for a fair catch by Eric Martin at the 84. So the Saints, 1st and 10 now for New Orleans. The ball on their own 7-yard line. Dalton Hilliard again, the rookie, cuts up inside and picks up maybe a couple. Hilliard led the Saints last week in their ball game. 51 yards and 15 carries and 1 touchdown.
Jim Mora likes him a lot. He says he's got a lot of ability. He's not real big, and also, you know, the 2 starting running backs for the Saints are really first-timers in the NFL. So you got a whole new system coming in. You have new players, a lot of new players on both these teams, and Jim Mora says that's one of the reasons they didn't do so well last week, and he hopes that things shape up this week.
2nd and 8. Buford Jordan. And he stopped for no gain by the Packers, who string it out well on defense. Brian Noble, number 91, over on the hit.
Yes, Brian Noble really jacked that one off. He just stopped it in there and came to the outside. Now, he's been inside, outside. He seems to be adapting to wherever Forrest Gregg puts him, because he had a good year last year, and now he's been very versatile so far this year.
3rd and 8 now for Hebert.
Look at this. The Philadelphia Eagles have a 3-0 lead over Chicago.
6 defensive backs in now for the Packers. Hebert with plenty of time to Eric Martin again. Martin at the 40, across the 50. He may go all the way. He's pulled down inside the 10-yard line by Tim Lewis, who came all the way from his right cornerback position. An 85-yard gain. Bobby Hebert to Eric Martin, their second big hookup of the day.
The Packers were into a nickel, and you can see one of the keys is the pass protection that Hebert is getting. And here comes Martin across the field. That's Ken Steels chasing him. Steels cannot catch him, eventually gets blocked out, and then it's Lewis who comes over and prevents the touchdown, at least temporarily. He hangs on to Eric Martin. What's his average per catch? What a game he is off to, as Lewis finally brings him down. The Packers have got to be stunned. And as you can see, the key was that Bobby Hebert was able to stand right in the pocket there, and Stills was not going to catch him. Eric Martin, not known as a burner, but he's got good enough speed.
1st and goal from the 7 now for New Orleans. Dalton Hilliard, and he'll get nowhere as Noble made the initial hit back behind the line of scrimmage. Eric Martin, as you mentioned, John, 2 catches now, 156 yards.
Oh, that's a great
average.
I'll take that any day. Oh, boy, that is something else.
You've got to give Tim Lewis some credit, coming all the way from his right cornerback spot to haul him down. Good hustle.
And Forrest Gregg's got to be in a state of shock over on the sidelines. It's just, you get 2 plays like that at the beginning of a football game. You know, you're looking at the possibility of, you know, he's thinking, hey, we could be 0-2 if we don't shape up, and then they got to play the Chicago Bears next week.
The key to that one was just all kinds of time. 2nd and 6. Hilliard again, picking a hole and gets some room and some yardage down to about the 2-yard line. He's hit by number 41, Tommy Flynn, the safety.
Well, the key here was number 23, the lead back, Buford Jordan. He'll go through on 55, Randy Scott. Now watch Jordan, 23. There's the block, and he's throwing, and then Hilliard just plays off of it and gets down almost to the touchdown. So we got a big call now here. We have 3rd and 1.5. And I'm sure that Jim Mora does not want to settle for a field goal, or what would he do if he goes to a 4th down situation? Let's see, they're coming out of the I.
Double tight ends. Jordan and Hilliard are the I-backs. It goes to the tailback, Hilliard, and he won't get it.
Oh, Mossy
bring up
Cade.
A 4th down call, Mossy Cade, and they say there might be a fumble. But we haven't seen a signal or an indication from the official.
Mossy Cade sneaked in from the backside, from the outside, to make the hit before anybody could really get going. So Morton Anderson is coming in, so apparently Jim Mora is going to settle for a field goal unless there's some kind of trickery. But you often have to wonder, it is early in the game and you're supposed to get all the points you can, but if, say, he went for it on 4th and 1 and he doesn't make it, he's got the Packers on their half-a-yard line, and you often wonder, this decision is always a tough one.
After last week, 10 points is going to look good to him. Morton Anderson has hit 15 in a row, including picks from last year. Make it 16 and make it 10-0. With 6:42 left in the first period, New Orleans Superdome crowd buzzing, and they have the Packers shaking their heads right now as they basically have New Orleans out in front by a score of 10-0. Morton Anderson hit on that 20-yard field goal to make it 10-0. 16 in a row now for him. You see Mark Mosley has the NFL record at 23. That's the longest active streak. He had one block from 28 yards. If not, he would now have 27 in a row.
And I always wonder about that rule. If it was blocked, he didn't get a chance to kick it. Why should his record go? But That's football.
You'll get a lot of friends among the kickers, and I'll tell you by saying that. Walter Stanley will take it at the 4. Tucks in nicely behind his wedge. In fact, runs into the back of him. Not very good coordination between he and the wedge. And he's out to about the 14-yard line. Linebacker Pat Swilling on the special team hit. Randy Wright still in there at quarterback. Here's the way they started the game. Kenneth Davis, Gary Ellis, Lofton, Epps, and West. Lofton and Epps are burners, of course. Young offensive line. Tom Neville getting the start at left guard because Moran was hurt. He's a rookie, as is Alan Weingrad. Hallstrom's the veteran. And he's in his 5th year. 1st and 10 from the 14 now. The Packers trailing 10-0 with 6:33 left on the clock in the first period and moving. Play action. To Lofton, picked off by Frank Waddle from his free safety spot. He was down and up and now inside the 30-yard line as he read perfectly the eyes of Randy Wright on a pass intended for James Lofton.
And you are right, Wayne, because Waddle, he's 49 at the bottom of your screen. Now watch Randy White. You know where he's going to throw all day. He's looking there, and Waddle just played off. He's the free guy and just picked it off from James Lofton and brings it back as the New Orleans Saints have stunned the Green Bay Packers. Finally, Epps makes the tackle. And what happened to Randy Wright afterwards? He didn't know. He didn't see the interception because, boom, down he goes. But from the reaction of the crowd, he knew what happened.
1st and 10 from the 26, a 9-yard return by Watlett. Here's Hilliard on a counter play, and he picks up about 4 or 5 before John Anderson, the left linebacker, slides over to make the hit.
Okay, we have the Giants leading San Diego 3-0. The Raiders over Washington 3-0 in the first quarter. Houston 7, Cleveland 0 first quarter. The Bengals have jumped out to a lead over Buffalo. Atlanta 7, St. Louis 0 first quarter. And look at that, the Philadelphia Eagles. If Buddy Ryan and the Eagles beat Mike Ditka and the Chicago Bears, there could be a war after the game.
There could be a war during that game.
That's right.
On that. 2nd and 6 now from the 22. Hilliard again bounces out, cuts up inside, and fumbles. Or did he? Eugene Goodlow was there, but they're going to rule him down at about the 15-yard line. And he may have enough for the first down.
What a great play that was as they pulled the offline. You see Brad Edelman 63 and 72 Dombrowski, and Hilliard just went outside the blocks and went up the field before being brought down. But good line movement by the offensive line of the Saints. You know, when those tackles on the offside got to come all the way over to the other side, that's, you know, tackles never used to run. They used to play within about a 3-yard radius, you know, but now they got to run all over the place.
That old counter play that everyone's using that the Redskins really popularized. Hilliard 8 carries, 19 yards. It was a first down. 1st and 10 now. Inside handoff to Buford Jordan, but flags are down. Jordan gets near the 5-yard line, but it may be brought back. Brian Noble on the hit.
No, it's offsides against Green Bay.
Side against the Packers, and they can't get it going.
Nope.
Chuck Heberlein is our referee this afternoon, and he's talking things over right now with Bobby Hebert.
He wants to make sure of his options here. The gain was how long? How long was that game? That was
it's down
about
close to about
9-yard game. So
near the first down again.
Yeah.
Offside, defense, number 24. Penalty is declined. 2nd down.
And this is the down where the Saints have the Packers at their mercy. 2nd down and 1. They can afford to do a lot of different things with this play and still gain the first down. So it makes the Packers stay honest on defense.
Passing yardage so far this afternoon. Hebert to Martin. Reed 156. This is Hilliard. Up the middle and bursts through for the first down. Across the 5 and near the 3.
A little scuffle on the field.
John Dorsey on the defensive hit.
And if you just watch the defensive lines there, you can see that they're knocked back a little bit, and he just finds the crease. That's That's the kind of play you like to see a youngster like Dalton Hilliard make. He spotted the little crease there and dipped through the hole and managed to get 3 or 4 yards.
Hilliard very quietly had just a sensational college career. From LSU, who's the 3rd leading rusher in SEC history behind only Herschel Walker and Bo Jackson.
That's pretty good company, isn't it?
He's the 8th running back chosen in the draft, the 31st player overall. 2 tight ends in there now for the Saints. First down and goal from the 3. I formation. It's Hilliard behind the block by Jordan. He'll get in.
More big yardage to the left side and the right side of the Packer defensive line as both backs went in standing up as Buford Jordan was leading the way here, and you could see he couldn't even find anybody to block. He kind of straightened up there on I think that was
Lewis,
Lewis.
the cornerback.
Yeah.
He turned him in, and you're right, he was looking for somebody to block. Morton Anderson, the extra point. It's up. It's good. It's 17-0. Dalton Hilliard with the 2nd touchdown of the season, and that got New Orleans out in front 16-0, but that wasn't the big play. This was
it. Number 49, Frank Waddle, watching the quarterback's eyes, and puts it right where Waddle wants him to, and he makes the interception and Lofton had gone straight down on an arrow pattern, and Waddle shows some pretty good running after he gets the ball.
Always amazed me, John, how guys can go down and get up so quickly. I can never do that. Once I was down for good.
Jim Morris said he's one of the players last week who had a good game for the Saints. He said he could only name a couple of them, and Frank Waddle was one of them.
Barry will take it in the end zone and stay in there with it as Anderson drives it deep. So the Packers will start this offensive possession from their own 20-yard line. Now, coming up next on CBS, most of you will see the San Francisco 49ers and the Los Angeles Rams. We still haven't got any definitive word in that one, whether Joe Montana is even in Los Angeles, or rather Anaheim with the 49ers. Great rivalry, though. They played in preseason, didn't show each other a thing, Johnny, but they sure will today.
And look at this, we have a replacement at quarterback already. Vince Ferragamo has come in to replace Randy Wright. Ferragamo, who's been around, he's the oldest player on this football field right now, and now he gets his chance.
A quick change as you see Epps go in motion. I formation. This is Davis. Over left tackle and gets about 3.
Boy, he's got to be a disappointed Randy Wright, 1 of 4 with the interception, and he may feel, hey, I never really got a chance, but Forrest Gregg is trying to do something, I would imagine, to shake up this team after losing like they did last week, and now they're down 17-0. He has a quarterback who's played in a Super Bowl. Vince Ferragamo has done it. He's played in the Canadian League. He's played for, who all has he played for? The Rams. He's been around.
He looks at a 2nd and 5 now. Near the 25-yard line. 1 remaining back. Ferragamo to throw. Short drop. Intended for the tight end West, but it was thrown short.
There's a penalty on the flag, a penalty on the play, and I think the way it looks where the flag was thrown, it's going to be against one of the Packer offensive linemen, apparently. As Ferragamo was a little short on the throw, and I wonder if he had been throwing in the last couple of minutes, or had he been just sitting back watching the ball game.
73. The penalty is refused. 3rd down.
Well, you wouldn't think he'd have much time to warm up, because that was a pretty quick hook by Forrest Gregg on Randy Wright. Far left of the screen, you'll see the hold.
Yeah, was that Hallstrom that he called it on?
73
Feingrad got it, the right tackle.
3rd and 5 now for the Packers. Out of the shotgun. Ferragamo with time. That's Stanley, and it'll be a 1st down. Walter Stanley with a pattern over the middle, picks up 11 yards. Good enough for the Packers' 1st down.
Well, that's got to be a confidence builder for Ferragamo to come in and get that 1st down now and start concentrating on moving this team down the field. It's very early in the game. I don't think you even consider leaving your game plan even though you're down 17-zip when you're still in the first quarter. So let's see how the Packers react under these kinds of conditions.
You mentioned Ferragamo playing for the Rams, John. He also played for Buffalo. He started the first 9 there last year and then was waived. 1st and 10. The ball is on the 36. West coming over the middle, the tight end motion. That was Davis, the rookie, and won't get much. Forrest Gregg, who told us that as he looked at the films last week of that Houston game, just couldn't find anything good at all about his ball club.
That makes it tough on a football coach to look at films and not find anything good.
And he was amazed because when he looked at the Saints, he said they played so similar to us. We both stunk out the place. 2nd and 7 now from the 39. Play action. For Lofton, he has it over the middle at the 40-yard line of the Saints. Good time that time by Ferragamo and good poise, and the throw was right on the money. 21-yard pickup.
And a super pass by Ferragamo hitting the man straight across the field as Lofton got a step on Johnny Poe coming across the middle. Watlett tried to come up and help out at the last second, but the pass was right on the dime there, and James Lofton catches another pass. Now he is about 20 behind Don Hudson's all-time record. James Lofton, who's had a brilliant career, going on 9,000 yards for career yardage.
Packers did a good job up front that time of picking up a blitz. 1st and 10 from the Saints 40. A delay play to Davis, and he'll get nothing. James Haynes, the right linebacker, with penetration. There's Randy Wright on the sideline. We thought perhaps he may have, that shot he took right after the interception, that he may have been injured, but we got word from downstairs there is nothing wrong with him. It was just a coach's decision.
Well, this is where young men have to show fortitude. This can be a real confidence destroyer in some respects for certain types of individuals to be taken out like that. But a game of the football is, as you know, ups and downs, and Randy Wright is a young man who's got his head on his shoulders, and he knows that he didn't do well, and we just have to come back next time and see what happens.
Gary Ellerson is in the Green Bay huddle right now, and out in a flank position as Davis kind of hobbled off after that last play. Ferragamo again to West, the tight end, as he pulls forward near first down yardage across the 35-yard line before he's stopped by Frank Watlett. So that'll bring us to the end of the first quarter, with the Saints leading the Packers. Superdome 17-0. The Saints out early over the Packers. Bobby Hebert to Eric Martin, 73-yard touchdown. We had a Morton Anderson field goal, and then Dalton Hilliard went in after an interception. 3 wide receivers in the games now, and a nickel defense in there.
3rd and 3, big play for the Packers.
Out of the shotgun, inside him. But the Saints are there. Ricky Jackson, number 57, one of the leaders of that Saints defensive group, along with Bruce Clark. Give him a tough left side over there, and Jackson got penetration.
Now we have a 4th down situation, and instead of 3, they have about 5 yards to go. The Packers at the 33-yard line. So what will they do? They're going to apparently take the field goal, try and get on the board. It's going to be a long one, though.
Bring out their kicker, Al Del Greco. The ball is right now on the 33-yard line. They'll spot it about the 40, so it'll end up being about a 50-yard field goal attempt. Don Bracken will hold, and he is just a shade behind that 40. They'll call it a 50-yard attempt by Del Greco. Made one of 26 last week, missed it 40 yards. This one is up. It's long enough, and he knocked it through. Al Del Greco with his 2nd field goal of the season puts the Packers on the scoreboard. And the score now, New Orleans 17 here at the Superdome, and we've got a 17-3 score. 17-3 is the score, and the amazing thing about it, John, is New Orleans come into this game with the lowest ranked offense in the NFC, last in passing, and 2 big bombs off Bobby Hebert to Eric Martin have made the difference right now.
I'm at least glad we're seeing some scoring off of last week. I was afraid. Okay, here we go.
Ruben Mays will take the ground kick at about the 15, get across the 20, breaks to the outside, across the 30 to the 35 before he's down. first 3 possessions for the Saints, their own 27, their own 9, and the Green Bay 26, and they all resulted in scores.
Dallas has taken the early lead. Well, now they're in the second quarter over Detroit. The Raiders in Washington are 3-3. Houston still 7-0 over Cleveland. Atlanta, boy, they must be for real. It's 14-0 after that big game down here, and the Eagles in the second quarter still leading the Bears 3-0.
Coming into a defensive struggle. First and 10 from the 34-yard line. Dalton Hilliard tries to bounce out, but is tripped up really by the legs of his own offensive tackle, Stan Brock.
And Mossy Cade got across there to kind of help out the situation, too.
Mossy Cade was one of the players that Forrest Gregg singled out as playing particularly well last week and through the preseason and training camp. Said he's a bell ringer. Said he is his kind of player.
He'll come up and stick you, and they use him on that 46 defense, that old, what they call a tough. It's the Bears 46 defense where you got to get up there and take on those big linemen sometimes.
Loss of 1 on the last one. That's Hobie Brenner, the tight end from Mayberry.
I think Stan Brock's going to get called for holding. He really grabbed on. Maybe, I don't want to indict him before I'm sure, but it looked like it might have been Brock.
Flags down. Brenner made the catch. Randy Scott on the hit defensively. Brock is a veteran, 27 years old, the oldest member on the team.
So you can see Randy Scott is one of the captains this year. Let's get the call.
Holding offense, number 67. 10 yards, second down.
He's at the left side of your screen. He's number 67. It's out of his screen, and there you can see that he's putting the hold on number 76, I believe that was, Alfonso Carricker. So Stan Brock had 3 holding penalties last week, so he's not off to a real great start. A couple of them were refused because of the game situation, but that's a lot of times to be called for holding in a game and a quarter.
3 wide receivers in there now for New Orleans, and it'll be 2nd and 21 from the 23. Mike Jones in motion. The handoff, though, to Hilliard. And he'll get a few. Charles Martin and Tom Flynn combine on the stop.
And it was Charles Martin. He hung in there, took all the hits, and just jammed it up in the middle as Dalton Hilliard goes back to the huddle, and you can tell he's not very tall, but he's a toughie.
Packers now bring in their rush unit. That includes rookie Tim Harris, number 97. They'll have 4 down linemen now.
Right.
Nickel situation in the backfield.
And only 1 linebacker.
4 wide receivers for New Orleans. 3rd and 16. Hebert to Eric Martin. And he'll have a short gain out to about the 35-yard line, way short of the first down as he's hit by John Anderson. So the Packers hold for the first time in this ballgame.
That's right. That's what you call a case of the defense working. Everybody dropped off. They had 8 people down the field. They were willing to give them 7 or 8 yards. They weren't going to give them the first down. So the Packers stop the Saints.
Brian Hansen will kick. Walter Stanley deep for the Packers. An end-over-end kick that'll bounce. And Stanley will get away from it as it's down by Glenn Redd, number 58, at about the 31-yard line.
Knows.
49ers and the Rams immediately following this one. Joe Montana did not make the trip. It'll be Jeff Kemp starting for the 49ers in that one. Ferragamo out wide to Epps. A hitch pattern that'll pick up about 4 or 5. Ricky Jackson on the stop.
Ricky Jackson made a super play. Now, that's not a big play, 4 yards. But as far as watching game films, Ricky Jackson had to play off 2 big linemen coming at him. He got through them both and made the tackle, and that's why he's one of the best in the business. Jesse Clark now in as Kenneth Davis is being x-rayed. It's a precautionary x-ray, so...
Twisted his ankle earlier. That's a precautionary x-ray. This is Ferragamo. To Lofton across the 50. And it'll be another Packer first down as Ferragamo hooks up with the great one, James Lofton. 20-yard pickup.
Okay, the Packers have spotted a kind of a soft spot over the Saints middle in the defense as you have good pass blocking. You just take Lofton across the middle. Watlet was way downfield. When they catch him in that zone, they used to use a lot of zone, the Saints, 2 and 3 deep zone, and teams used to run up and down the field on them. They've gone to a little bit more man-to-man, but that time they caught him in that defense, and Lofton had some room to run over the middle. As you look at the top receivers in Green Bay history, some big names there.
Lofton needed 21 catches coming into this game to pass Don Hudson. Play action here. Lofton was open again. Ferragamo goes for him, but it's intercepted by Johnny Poe, the cornerback, number 25. Ferragamo was a little late getting that ball out there, John.
Way late, because Lofton was wide open, and finally when Ferragamo spotted him, Poe came off and made the interception. He was being covered deep down the field, more by Waddlet, so it was a timing situation there, as Forrest Gregg just can't believe what he's seen. Now you'll see Ferragamo come back here. He has plenty of time. He's looking over there, but it was a zone. They had him short and deep, and you could see how much he hesitated, and Poe was able to get back and make the interception. Waddlet was covering him deep, so they played right into the Saints' hand on that one, as Johnny Poe makes his second interception of the year, and Green Bay now has 2 big turnovers.
And the Saints will have it on the 35-yard line. Hilliard on a short toss. Up inside, breaks a couple tackles across the 40 and will pick up 6 or 7 before Charles Martin makes the stop, along with Tom Flynn.
We were talking with Jim Mora the day before yesterday, I guess, when he was talking about how he looked at the films. And he said, I know I don't have a great team. He said, I didn't expect a lot coming from the USFL, and the Saints hadn't been doing well. He said, and they're about what I expected, but he said, we can play much better than we played last year. And he was really seemed to be mystified by how poorly his team played before a full house here, but it's kind of turned around for him this week.
2nd and 3 here. Eugene Goodlow in motion. The hand to Hilliard again, and he'll have the first down. Randy Scott makes the hit. So Hilliard's getting his work. He carried 15 times last week against Atlanta, but New Orleans didn't have the ball much. You know, Atlanta one time in that ball game had a 13-minute drive, 21 plays.
And I've never seen that before in my life. You know, the weather's nice in here. It's 95 out in the city of New Orleans, but here in the Dome it's about 70 degrees. I think the players appreciate that.
You can bet they're happy to be in here. 1st and 10 now from the 47. That's Jordan. And he won't get a thing.
Boy, did the Packers stack that one up, huh? Randy Scott stuck his nose in there, really jammed up the pulling lineman. Here's some more scores. No change there. Houston over Cleveland.
Houston is playing excellent defense under Jerry Glanville. He was their defensive coordinator.
The Bengals may have gotten their offense on track. Atlanta now 14-7 over St. Louis. And the Eagles, who are 17-point underdogs to Chicago, lead them 3-0. So I wonder if Buddy Ryan's defense is kind of shaking up the old Chicago Bears.
You know they're thumping each other in that one, Johnny. 2nd and 9 here on the 48. Play action. That's Tice, the tight end. He'll have the first down. No flags down. Mossy Cade, the strong safety, finally on the hit, but good deception, a good fake that time by Hebert.
Yes, and he got a key block on against Carricker that helped him get outside. As you'll see, Tice and Hobie Brenner both at the tight end position, both good football players. Both have been banged up a little bit.
A 13-yard pickup that time. The ball moves now to the 38-yard line of the Packers, where it'll be 1st and 10.
Look at that, 228 yards, and we're still just midway through the second quarter. That's a lot of offense. Packers in a 3-4 defense. They've been losing a lot of 34.
Hilliard deep. Jordan is the up back. Here's the toss. Noble comes from the offside to bring Hilliard down.
Now watch Buford Jordan put his nose in there. He goes right after Noble and Randy Scott. Now he's the lead block. He's the lead block, number 23. Now coming through here, boom, you see right on the right-hand side of your screen, he takes on 2 linebackers with a perfect block. as he's not all that big, but he sure blocks like a biggie, doesn't he?
He's got something to prove, too, Johnny. Number 23, Buford Jordan, was into Green Bay training camp last year and was waived, was cut. Played in the USFL. First-year player out of McNeese State here in Louisiana. Goodlow in motion.
Oh, here's that.
Hilliard again. Mossy Cade with the stop after Randy Scott got the penetration.
He smelled that offside line pull. What did the Redskins used to call that?
That's in Trey.
Yeah, Trey Wright or something like that. Yeah. But Randy Scott saw it coming, so as soon as he saw those linemen pull, watch 55. He sees those linemen pull, he goes through there and catches it from behind to kind of mess up the timing and then allow the rest of the Packers to make the tackle.
Ruben Mays in there now at running back. Another rookie. So it's Mays and Hilliard in there at the same time. They're two rookie running backs.
Mays didn't get to play last week.
Both out in patterns. This is Mays. Scott on the hit near the first down. Depends on how they spot it. And they have it.
And the Saints are not the Aints fans today, and we got to give some credit to Bobby Hebert. Boy, he's looking real good. He's finding the man and just throws it over the middle to Mays, gets just enough for the first down before Scott can make the tackle. So the Saints have a nice little drive, and if they score here, boy, they can really make it tough on Green Bay. That's when you have to start thinking about leaving your game plan. First downs, 8-5. Bobby Hebert, the Cajun Cannon.
Hebert's got his team out, 1st and 10 now, 28-yard line. He'll throw and roll out right. Lofted it for Eric Martin. Picked off by one of the Packers and drop it. Will they call possession? And they say yes. John Anderson, I believe, on the linebacker drop, got his hands on it. The officials say he retained possession even though he dropped it. So the Packers will take over when we return. 5:40
and recovered it. Green Bay has the ball.
And he won't get a thing. I mentioned Bobby Hebert, ill-advised. That was his first mistake of the day. Hebert is 5 of 6 now in the game, 182 yards, and that one interception.
He could have run 10 yards down the field on that one too, but you have a young quarterback and who's only started 8 NFL games. Now he has had some experience in the old USFL, but still a youngster.
Second and 10 now for the Packers. Epps in motion from the 18-yard line. Ferragamo to throw. Swings it out, and it's intercepted. Intercepted by James Haynes, the linebacker. Talk about ill-advised throws. There's one. Return for a touchdown by linebacker James Haynes.
DeForest Gregg looks at the scoreboard, cannot believe it, and you hit it right on the head. An ill-advised throw. It was easy pickings for James Haynes. I don't think Ferragamo saw Haynes. I think at the last second he came kind of from the inside. He threw that little swing pass, which is always a dangerous pass, right down there near your end zone.
With the extra point, he's successful, and the score goes to 24-3 as the Saints defense gets into the act. You see James Haynes being congratulated on the sideline. Kenneth Davis with an ankle problem. You see the wrap on that right ankle. He will not be back today. It was x-rayed. The x-rays proved negative.
And what makes it worse is that Ellerson is not really 100% either. He has kind of a sore ankle, I believe, and so he's not 100%.
That's right. Forrest Gregg said he wanted to spot Ellerson today and give his tender leg a rest. Anderson to kick it off. Stanley is deep in the middle. This one goes again to Berry at the 10. And he'll be down at the 19-yard line. And Ferragamo, if he's back in there, let's take a look. We'll get another shot from there. No one has left the sideline yet, but it is Ferragamo.
He hasn't got too many other places to go, with Wright already being benched, and they're carrying only 2 quarterbacks. So, Vince, it's your ball game now.
Had the Rams in the Super Bowl one year while he was there. Contractual problems, went to Canada, and the Rams are in a bowl of their own out there now, the Western Bowl against the 49ers. Jeff Kemp will start, the ex-Ram for the 49ers. Steve Bartkowski, the ex-Atlanta Falcon, for the Rams in that one. Ellerson and Ellis. This is Ellerson trying to get wide left, and Haynes, who got the interception, strings it out pretty well on that side.
The fans are producing a little wave for us. They are excited. They haven't had an explosion like this for a little while, at least since last season. And after last week's game, when they had a full house, they have probably, I'd say, 55,000, but they're excited.
Yeah, you mentioned they did have a full house last weekend, and they just had to sit on it all game long. There wasn't a thing for them to cheer about in that one.
Well, Jim Morris said we laid a big fat egg before the home crowd, but things are turned around.
2nd and 7. Epps goes in motion. The toss to Ellerson again. He cuts it up and has good yardage near the first down, but a couple yards short of it. Alvin Tolles makes the hit on the inside for the Saints. The first 3 possessions we showed you of New Orleans resulted in scores. Look at these. A punt, an interception. They got a field goal, and then the last 2 drives were ending in interception.
And actually their point of possession wasn't all that bad. They've been at 32 a couple of times, so it hasn't been that they've been bottled up on their own goal line. And, you know, they have a new offense this year, the Packers. It's a little bit more conservative.
Left in the first half, they lead by a score of 24-3. The last score just coming on a 17-yard interception return by the Saints by linebacker James Haynes. The Packers have been on the board. A field goal by Al Del Greco. They have not had much going. They started with Randy Wright at quarterback. Ferragamo has taken over. And you see his numbers. He's looking right down at a 3rd down and 2 yards to go. Play action. Dan Ross makes the catch near the 40-yard line. The veteran who came from Seattle before the season started, an 11-yard pickup, and it'll be a Packer first down.
Yes, Dan, it looks like he might have hurt his shoulder a little bit there. 257 receptions for over 3,000 yards. And, of course, he played with the old Bengals and caught 11 passes in the Super Bowl. But did you notice that time he made sure he fell down and smothered that ball in? A lot of receivers would try and run along and snatch it and keep running. He wanted to make sure of the first down.
The ball was thrown a little bit behind him, and he made a great adjustment to it.
Look, Cincinnati 14-9 over Buffalo.
Ferragamo again to throw. Swings it out here to Ellis. He cuts it back inside and picks up good yardage. Before he's hit by Alvin Tolles, he'll be about 3 yards shy of another first down.
Okay, here's Gary Ellis just taking that little swinger, and then he comes in and makes a nice move there on Haynes, and then comes back across and finally brought down. But Gary Ellis has been a steady football player. Ricky Jackson, 57, blitzed on it, but they were able to pick it up there and stop him, as Ed West does a good job of just jamming things up there.
Hand off to Ellerson on 2nd and 2, and he'll have the first down. The play before that, John, you got to give Ferragamo credit for showing some courage. He's through the same pattern. He got intercepted.
Yeah, well, of course, he's out at midfield, makes a little bit of a difference, but still, actually, no matter where you intercept those kind of passes, you had a good chance of going all the way. You used to do that all the time, didn't you?
Yeah, once or twice. Ellerson with the first down on that last carry. The ball now on the 47-yard line of New Orleans. You see the clock. We're nearing the 2-minute mark. Split back there. Ferragamo to throw. Intended for Epps, but tipped away by Waymer and Ricky Jackson out in the flat. Jackson, who led this team with 11 sacks last year, one of the most active linebackers in the league.
Okay, we'll take a look at Ricky Jackson. He makes the jam on the tight end like a good linebacker should. Then he goes out to help out in the buzz zone, out in the out zone. And Epps had some problems there with Waymer, who put the jam on him. And you just got to give the Saints credit for doing the job the way you're supposed to do it. Cover your...
From the 47. Ferragamo to throw with time to Lofton near the first down, depending on where they mark it. Russell Gary with a good hit on Lofton.
Plenty of time to get downfield.
So we're going to leave. We'll be back with 1:40.
When I would imagine they'll have another down. I'm sure they won't go for the field goal or give up the ball. They'll go for it.
3rd and 1 from the 38. Ellerson on a short trap up inside, and he'll have enough for the first down. Ricky Jackson coming down to make the stop.
The hurry-up offense is they're not going to waste any time.
Ellerson and Ellis in the backfield. Lofton and Epps are the wide receivers. From the 35, Ferragamo out to Ellis. And he'll get out of bounds near the 31-yard line before he's hit again by Jackson. A good job of stopping the clock and getting out of bounds. At halftime, keep in mind, NFL Today crew with Brent Musburger, Will McDonough, and Terry Bradshaw with scores and highlights of all the games going on around the National Football League today. Plus that silver anniversary special we mentioned, featuring Pat Summerall. That's coming up next. And soon. We have 1:19 left here.
The guy who's been open a little bit has been West, but he's now gone out.
Three wide receivers. Out of the shotgun, 2nd and 6 from the 31. Ferragamo with all kinds of time. Out in the flat to Ellerson, where it's complete, but he could not get out of bounds, and the clock continues to run. Ellerson came in this game favoring a sore ankle. You can see him limping a little bit there as he's coming back to the huddle. We mentioned Forrest Gregg didn't want to use him all that much, but with Davis out with another ankle injury, he's been forced to. 3rd and 2. Ellis. '94, Jim Wilkes, Ricky Jackson.
And Frank Warren was across there to jam that up.
Ferragamo will operate it out of the shotgun. Nickel defense in there for the Saints. Picked up well by the Rams. Had it right on the money to Ellerson, but he couldn't hold on. Antonio Gibson, one of the first USFL players to sign in the NFL, was over there defensively, but that was a pretty good throw by Ferragamo.
It was. Antonio Gibson timed his hit just right, was able to knock the ball out and knock the Ellerson at the same time and come up with a big play to keep the Packers off the board as the Saints put on a blitz. Now watch the timing of the hit and the ball. He didn't hit him too soon or to get called for a penalty.
Gibson, he had a hold of his left arm as the ball got there and pulled it down a little bit, and that prevented the reception. So the Saints will take over with 35 seconds to go in the first half on their own 29-yard line. And they now with 4 wide receivers in the game. Gene Goodlow in motion. A late delay handoff to Ruben Mays, and the rookie is straight up the middle for a pickup of about 9.
They're going to call a quick timeout. The Saints aren't satisfied at 24-3. They're at the 40-yard line with 27 seconds. And how many timeouts do they have left now?
They'll have 2 left after that one.
So they have time that they could maybe...
I was firsthand for that 63-yarder.
Was it Tom Dempsey? I keep saying Rick Dempsey.
No,
Tom Dempsey.
Yeah, it was Tom Dempsey. From the 39, 1st and 10 now for Hebert and the Saints. 4 down linemen for the Packers. And we've got a flag down. A 3 down for New Orleans. That's out to Mays. Good move to bounce out. Perhaps picks up the first down near there anyway, and also gets out of bounds before he's stopped by Ken Stills.
So the Saints will have all kinds of options. Hebert was knocked pretty hard on that play, but he's up and he's okay. As the officials are discussing the situation, it would appear that since he did get out of bounds, I think they'll refuse the penalty, take the game.
Good heady run, though, by that rookie running back, Ruben Mays, who was a 3rd-round draft choice out of Washington State.
The only reason he's not playing a lot is because of Dalton Hilliard, who's played so well. So he's got a couple of good young running backs there.
Different types. You mentioned it.
Right tackle offense. illegal formation.
Uh-oh, it's against the Saints. We assumed that the Packers were offside.
They will offset each other. We will replay the down.
Offsetting penalties.
I've never really quite understood that one, because how do they happen? Can they happen simultaneously? Either the tackle pulled him offsides or he was offside. You know, that's what Jim Mora may be saying too. But anyway, the play goes over.
It'll go over, and even though they're offsetting, if anything, it helps the Packers a little bit because it took some time off the clock.
And plus, put them back a few yards.
6 defensive backs in there for Green Bay, 4 wide receivers for New Orleans. 1st and 10 from the 39. Hebert, long count. Back in the pocket. Steps up and gets it to Mike Jones, who had first down yardage, but there were flags down, and I think it's going to come back, and I think it'll be a hold against the New Orleans Saints.
That's the call.
It looked like the rookie Tim Harris, Green Bay designated pass rusher, over on the right side, got great penetration that time, and then was just flat out held by
Holding.
Jim Dombrowski.
Number 72. 10 yards, first down.
That's who it was. Number 72, the rookie Dombrowski, the number 1 draft choice of the New Orleans Saints. He was the 6th player taken in the draft.
I think the Saints
for an offensive tackle.
Okay, he's at the right there, number 72. Well, you can just barely see him when you're screening, but there was the hold. Boy, there's a good example of it as he went down. And I think the Saints have decided to go in with the 24-3 lead, and are just going to wind down the clock now.
10 seconds left. You bet they've got a safety man back there. Hebert will drop down. That'll be the last play of the first half. A first half that was dominated totally by the Saints, and they lead by a score of 24-3.